Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to RynoRyder's podcast, The Word. This is a show that fights to tear down that alluring curtain of Hollywood, expose it for the beast it is, and talk about what life is really like to be a filmmaker living in Los Angeles in 2018. Today's show topic, we're going to talk about music in film. I am so effing pumped, not only for this episode, but for my lovely, amazing guest that decided to sit in with me today, Nicola Antonucci.
That's right. Hi.
From the Czech Republic.
Mm-hmm. Hi, how's it going?
Nico, thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
For those of you, actually, they'll know exactly who you are if they're listening right now, because about 30 seconds before this, they heard some of your music. I use you for my intro and my outro.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, I hope you guys liked it.
Nico is describe, because it's, right?
Yeah.
It's a blend. It's a blend.
It is.
So what do you tell the lovely 6 people that are listening right now? I got 5 last week. I'm going for 6. Tell them a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So I am a music composer and music producer. And I have this project, it's called RESIN, where I produce kind of like darker, semi-industrial music. It's electronic, but it's not necessarily dancey, even though my new stuff is a little faster. But it's cinematic, it's ambient, it's kind of a mixture of different things. And
I'm a huge fan. Can I tell you our intro story? I love to tell stories. Yes. So Nico, I met Nico. She worked with Abby at a bar where she still works. And I heard about this girl who had a CD that she, wanted to listen for like a couple months maybe.
Yeah, I was trying to reach out to you for a very long time, for months, really.
And for anyone who's been a producer, director, filmmaker, really anything in LA for any amount of time, you've been given hundreds of composer CDs, or I've been reached out to composer, use my music in film, and I listened to all of them. And they all sound the exact same. So I went to visit Abby at work one night, and it was like the first time I was there. So all the regulars were like, wow, Ryan, Abby's husband, and I was loving it. And then I get this little Nico pops up. She wanted to hand me a CD, and you had it like in your bag or whatever. And Abby was like, and I was literally like on my way out, and Abby was like, "Can you wait?" And I was like, "Oh, of course, And here comes Nico. You said I think 3 words. Like, here it is. It's super dark. and I'm like, okay, just define dark to me is a different thing. And so I got in my car, and I put the CD in, and the real story is that within the first 2 seconds, I'm not joking, 2 seconds, I knew this was something fucking special.
Oh.
I waited to the first 10 seconds, and by the way, the very first song that I heard is the song I use, Corners, for the intro and outro. Okay. And so after 10 seconds, I wanted to pull up my phone and text Abby and say how fucking crazy, amazing this person, like genius, brilliant this person is.
Oh.
But I reserved, and I said, hold on, don't, because I always leap before I look. And I said, well, maybe she's just the vocals. And maybe she had a boyfriend or some dude, whatever. I don't know. Sorry that it has to be a dude. It could be a girl.
Of course. That's just how it is, though.
Someone, maybe someone produced it or, And so instead of texting Abby how brilliant you were, I texted her, what did she do on this? Like, how much? And when she responded back everything, I was like, it's brilliant. She's on Spotify, SoundCloud, RESIN, RESIN. I'll put your tag up here, @Music by RESIN. But it's fucking phenomenal. It's so much heart and emotion. Sweet. It's true, man. It's true. Give it a listen. Thank
you so much.
And your score, we also brought her on to start scoring a movie that we're doing a very unorthodox approach to that one, right? But I mean, the stuff that we turned out.
I think it was
pink,
great.
red,
yeah.
blue themes.
Yeah,
like,
I think it was great. It was definitely a great experience for me, and it helped me clarify that this is what I really want to do. You know, make music because as a woman, I feel like I'm a little pressured to just, you know, be a vocalist or a singer, and you know, just like you said, people don't expect a woman to produce music or to have any knowledge about music at all, except for singing or maybe playing piano.
Or like pitch or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's just, and I love singing, and I sing on my tracks, but I just, especially at that moment, I was really sick of singing. I wanted to prove the world, and I prove myself that I can do more than that, and that, you know, it's that my music can be good even without the vocals. And so when I started working on the project, on the score, I just, you know, felt this freedom of, okay, I don't have to use my vocals. I can actually really go crazy and just, you know, start writing music that I really always wanted to make and I always wanted to write, without having to find a room for the vocals, without, you know, being dominated by the vocals. So that just, it was such a great experience. And I remember I couldn't sleep. I was so excited to work, and I'm never that excited. Like, I love making music, but, you know, I work for a few hours a day and I get tired, and I'm like, I need to take a nap. But when I worked on the score, I was just like, oh my god, you know, this is amazing. I just was like so into it, and it's all I wanted to do, really.
She also did. I'll give myself my shameless plug. If you on my YouTube channel, the video's there. It's also on Vimeo. I cut together a teaser trailer for a script that I have that I adapted from a real life book, a couple's book outside of Seattle, about them, their story of them dealing with their daughter's drug addiction, opioid addiction, for the last like 13, 14 years. You know, ripped footage from YouTube, and I had Lou Reed's Perfect Day in my head. And the whole time I was like, man, if I can get, because I love cover songs. This is good meat for the intro to what we're gonna be talking about. But I love it when a good cover, because you know where my music is. I love the dark, heavy, you know. Yeah. And so I asked Nico if she would do a cover of that, and gave you like zero direction, like literally just kind of like
just do whatever. And you were always great with that. You were just kind of, and that's why I so appreciate you, because you always gave me, you trusted me, and you just do whatever, you know. Like, I think this song works for the footage, and I'm like, but I don't think I can do anything better than the original. And I didn't. I just didn't, but it's different.
It's so different, and I watched, and it's like, and it's hard, like, because I told you I watched them back to back, you know, like, and like, of course there's the Lou Reed, and it's like, it's you know, on the nose, like heroin in the park, blah blah blah, but it's dated, and like, you guys got to, it's on your Spotify.
Yes, it's on SoundCloud.
It's on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
So RESIN, RES. I'm gonna give you like a million plugs. RESIN. Go to soundcloud.com, and Lou Reed, or A Perfect Day's on there. I truncated it, I cut it, you know, for the length of the footage. But the thing that I love about Nico, and I'm not musically, I mean, I'm okay, but I understand it, love it, and I understand it very well. Like, so it's like difficult to explain to somebody, but like, I fucking felt like your music, I hear you, like your emotion, like, and that's very, very super rare for someone that's not at the top. I listen to 9 Inch Nails, I can feel fucking Trent, I know what message he's putting out, you know, and he doesn't have to sing, it can literally just be in the tracks. That was the very first time I've ever listened to someone's music who I didn't already admire and look up to and had listened to before. It was literally out of the blue that I was like, this bitch is deep. Like, And it's not even the
so
lyrics. You know what I mean? Like literally, it's in the music. So anyway, check it. The reason I got to that was like your cover of it is like you stretch out you pull like these moments, and just when you think it's just and you just keep more, and then you fucking boom, just deliver in the end. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Enough bragging about how amazing and talented we all are.
This feels really good.
Yeah, well, it's also almost 6 o'clock, and I bought like the cheapest bottle of wine I could find.
It's good. It's good,
I
actually.
needed a screw top.
But that doesn't mean that it's bad necessarily. I think that it's almost like Pinot Noir, even though it says that it's Cab. But it's good.
I know, right? It's like kind of sweet, yeah. Anyway. All right. Oh, and so for those of you that are watching in the video, this is my new recording space here in the office. The video didn't work last time for Abby. I just got the audio. But she sounded great. All right, let's talk music and film.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to break it down into 3 topics, and we'll see where we go from that. The first one I'm going to talk about is traditional score, orchestra, right? No vote singing. The second one I want to talk about is source, which is songs used over scene. Reservoir Dogs, Tarantino does it very, very well. And then the last one, which I'll be interested to hear your thoughts, and because we have we're about a decade apart, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be 27 this June.
I'm 37. Yeah. So I saw this trend happen, like early 2000s, like this all of a sudden this like pop, and I call it, and actually they coined the phrase called scorce music.
Mm-hmm.
Score and source,
mm-hmm.
scores. That I'd be interested to hear you talk. That's faded out. I don't think people do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
there was a lot in
now.
I know,
like you want my example from
Love
it?
Me, Romeo and Juliet with Leo DiCaprio and Danes. Yeah, it was like a theme song of, and yeah, a lot of 2000 and
early 2000. The first Resident Evil movie, Manson did the score.
True.
That's like the best example of like scores, because he's like a band, right, doing that, but scoring to the video, and so like super cool. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if things just got more electronic and people just kind of like blended in, but like your shit's not electronic. Like the score, you know what I mean? Like if you had a full 80-piece orchestra,
I would love
you
that.
would love that over like sitting on your laptop.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
But I still like, the electronic influence. I like to play with different synths, and there's, the electronic element is something that adds, it's like a little shortcut, it's a little easier to work with for sure, but there's something to it, it's not that it's just computer. People judge that a lot, that it's not music, staying in front of your computer. I disagree. I think it's still, you still have to have an idea, you still have to kind of know some music theory, and you have to know how to work these softwares, and
so let's talk music theory, actually, since you brought it up, because like one of the first things I was going to do is obviously let's start out with some of our favorite scores, right, used in film. Traditional scores.
What was your favorite?
Like I'm on a big Hans Zimmer kick right now, because
me too,
what he and Christopher Nolan are doing is really amazing. But I will go. My go-to is always the late Howard Shore and Aliens.
Okay.
The second one, and the story behind it, I believe I told you, but for the 7 people listening now, he struggled with that score very much, and because it was like a studio production, there's a deadline, you know what I mean? He literally had nothing to do, or like no ideas, no inspiration, and so it was literally like crunch time, like a week till they needed the score, and so he said, fuck it, I'm just gonna make it like militaristic and just play it. And if you listen to it, it's like it's not special, but it's like it's just but he just literally, kind of like your music, like he just builds the entire movie, builds to one fucking epic coda.
Yeah.
You like that
Yeah.
verbiage? One coda and then repeats it again, you know what I mean? Because the movie follows it, but like just does the exact same thing and has the exact same moment and just times it perfectly and stuff like that. So you can't teach that. You can't teach that. So tell me about that. And where did that come from? Like, where did your confidence in your knowledge come from? Mine came from watching a movie every single day for my entire life, and movies being my only escape, right? Forever, the only thing I've ever wanted to do. That's why I can speak with so much bravado about film theory. So I'd be curious on terms of score from a musician's side point of view.
I think that, nowadays it's, like starting with Hans Zimmer, things have changed a little bit, things have shifted. It's not that a person who writes film music has to have necessarily classical education. Like Hans Zimmer, started in a band and is self-taught, which is amazing, and he's one of the greatest composers for film music ever. And so
big daps to Hans Zimmer.
I
hope he's listening.
Oh yeah, I know, right? And it's been kind of the same thing for me. Like I started on piano when I was really young, but then crazy puberty and growing up, I was kind of crazy, so I started a punk band and grunge, and then I played guitar, so it was a bunch of different influences, but I always loved classical music, and I think that's something that that I was always fighting with, like I love the darkness, but I also love the classical music.
That's interesting.
And I kind of neglected that passion for music theory and classical music, because with punk and with grunge you don't really care, you just, it's exactly.
Yeah.
It's like fuck you.
Yeah, you can swear as much.
Okay,
fuck
good.
Shit, dick, son of a cocksucker.
Good. Okay, so it's like fuck you, and but I started missing, the beauty of rules and of theory that comes with classical music and of the hard work, and so when I started producing, I just kind of started like, I'm gonna blend these things, and I'm self-taught, like I've never really if I took like 5 piano lessons when I was like 6 years old, that's it. But
how did you it rolls off your tongue, like, you know what I mean, but like, what the fuck, dude? Like, come on.
Thank you. But
so what does that mean, self-taught?
I think that
it just like binary just clicked to you. It made sense.
Yeah, I just after playing in all the bands, I just couldn't deal with other people anymore. And
where did you play?
So I recorded 3 different albums, in Germany and Prague and whatever, and I have never been happy with the result, and it's because I wasn't able to express myself. I had other people playing in the band for me. I had a producer who was telling me this is what it should sound like, and every producer was different. I was like, no, like I know that I don't have enough knowledge to express myself well. I don't have enough confidence, but I know this is not right. This is not me. This is not what it should sound like. So I was like, well, you know what? Like, I gotta do this myself. And so that's how I started, and I slowly started to learn. And I had a lot of people who helped me, who explained, many, many things to me. And I'm still, I still feel like I just started. There's a long journey, lifelong
26
journey.
years old. Of course you've just started.
Yeah, but there are kids that are 21 years old,
By the way,
and they
I
have
don't know
the
if
knowledge.
this comes across thus far. If somebody's 20 minutes in, they've been listening. Nico, for her age, is so extraordinarily wise beyond her years. Like I'm like in awe of her. So in very much the same way that Abby is like the fucking smartest, wisest, oldest soul in the world. You know what I mean?
It's so funny because I always, and I don't want to sound cocky, but I always felt that the same way, that when I was 14 and when I started making music, first of all, it was my only escape, just like, movies are for you. But for me, I feel like I'm too old. I'm too old for this world. I'm tired. I can't do anything. I'm just tired. Like, and even to this day, and I'm on a lot of medication.
We both are. It's okay.
Yeah.
This is a very medicated room right now.
Yes. I just I need to sleep like 20 hours a day. Literally, like you kind of have the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
So like I'm so jealous.
I also
of your
expect
energy.
when I text somebody to get a response within 30 seconds, and Nico
Yeah,
takes
I'm
like
like,
sometimes
oh, yeah.
30 days.
Oh yeah, I take my time, and it's just, and I hate it about myself, but I'm just tired. I can't do it right now. You know what I mean? I keep procrastinating, and it's bad. But anyway, what I was trying to say, it's just.
It's just been in you.
Yeah, it's just been in me, and I think that obviously, like, my skills and my knowledge is very limited, and I really want to put it out there. It's very, very, very limited, and there's millions of people who have, you know, skills that I will never have and knowledge that I'll never have, but it's maybe because I don't have that much knowledge. I kind of let myself go. I let myself write because I don't know that I'm breaking any rules. If I would know that I'm breaking certain rules, I wouldn't break them. I wouldn't write this way.
Yep.
So this kind of gives me a little bit of freedom. But I think that certain sense of, like, some people have sense of aesthetics. It's the same thing with music. It has to make sense.
Sounds ridiculously similar to me and like writing.
Yeah.
You know, like I've known how to write a screenplay since I was 19.
Yeah, you just
and
know.
I've written dozens,
Yeah.
whatever, and like most of them have been better than everybody else's crap that I've read. Then lightning hit my head, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went deep into like who I was as a person and started to pull out from there, but under the guise of a vampire themed movie trilogy that takes place over 70, like, that's ridiculous. But that fucking character in the third one is so 100% me. Like, it is so me, you know. And I had so much fun writing it. And I get excited when I think about that character. You know what I mean? It's incredible.
Because it's you.
It's so me. It's so me. And so it's like I hadn't cracked that code yet until then. And now it's like it's like a gift. It's like, I get, you know, so it sounds super similar. It's just, it's strange that same story, that same just kind of feeling can work completely opposite, you know. Mine's on paper and yours is in your ears, you know.
For someone else, it might be raising children, you know, like
exactly.
It's just really, it comes down to really knowing what your calling is and what you are born to do, and I believe that we all have some sort of aspiration.
God, and I wish everybody it could happen.
But
to
it's
everybody.
it's hard, and we are living in this world. We're very distracted by there's just so much going on. There's so much information, and it's hard to figure out, okay, what is it that it really speaks to me? What is it that it really is me, and that makes me feel just not happy, but just me, just
exactly,
you know,
just fucking do it.
Just like, you know, like, you don't even have to try. And for music, even though it's so much hard work and it's a lot of hours that I'm, you know, and I'm falling asleep in front of the computer like constantly.
Don't get the cops called on you. It's a good thing you're a nice white blonde girl. By the way, if anybody has read that story, it's in the news. Did you see that?
No.
This black girl at like some university somewhere, like, fell asleep studying in this student union, and this white neighbor of hers like called the cops on her, and the cops showed up to her like her place. They had to prove that she fucking lived there, and she's like, this is my key, like I'm like, what the fuck?
That's ridiculous. That's absolutely disgusting. That's just
so that's why I made the joke.
Yeah, well, anyway, it happens for whatever reason. My music really makes me feel sleepy, and so it is a lot of hard work. But when I actually, you know, when I'm not just editing, or when I'm not doing, you know, some sort of when I'm actually creating, it seems very easy. That's the easiest part. That's definitely the easiest part. It's work.
It's not like, snap your fingers and I make this amazing beautiful tune. It's like I might sit there and stare at the wall for an hour.
Exactly. But it's, for me, like, creating and writing the melody, that's you know, the main hook, that's my favorite part. Now, then when I'm mixing or when I'm editing, then it's like, that's, you know, okay, these are hours of work that I have to do, but it has to be done. It's part of the job. But creating the melody is super easy. That's definitely the easiest part, and I think that's something that you're born with. And I hope that, you know, I'm doing a decent job with that.
We do a great job of getting off topic.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Nico and I love to chat.
We do.
We've had many a session sitting in her office just talking about life and and things like that. Which actually, If you want to tie it into being creative, I mean, what we were just saying, like, the better you understand yourself and the wider your eyes are to the world, like, your art gets better. You know, that's why you remember the greats.
Just be the purest
like,
you, really.
Yeah.
Like, be the purest, the most simple you. It doesn't have to be complicated, really. Like, it's like I said, I don't have knowledge. Like, you didn't study acting like university, right?
No.
Or so, but you just know, and that's all that matters. It's something that you have passion for, that you know that you were born to do, and just keep it simple, keep it easy, and it happens.
I actually have a theory, right? And I've told you that every single human being on this planet, 7 point whatever billion that it's currently at,
It was way too many.
off with their heads.
7.5.
That's where the check comes out.
That's true.
And, you know, people were always like in the movie business, right? And I finally had to tell my mom, like, stop telling me you have ideas for a movie, like, because ideas are shit. You know what I mean? And she did. God bless her. But
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. I was gonna go off. Yeah, she just had surgery yesterday, so
no.
the best. She fell and had a hip replacement surgery.
Oh no!
So wishing you the best, Mom.
Yeah.
Actually, and she's like my biggest fan, so she will be listening to this. So.
Oh no!
Yeah. Hi, Mom. I love you. Sorry I can't be there. I'm glad you're healing well, and I hope they give you lots of drugs, but don't get hooked on them.
True.
That's funny. It's the power of the internet, right?
Yeah.
See, so that's my point. Is like with everything that's like going on and stuff, like it's super loud and stuff and everything. But we are in a pendulum shift right now, and
Absolutely.
if we can just get through it, like literally as a species, we're gonna be so much better on the other side. And that speaks exactly true. Oh, to go back to the story thing. So people are like, oh, I have a great idea for a movie, you know, or this would make a great movie, or oh my God, did you watch that person's story on Discovery Channel? Like, they should make that into a movie, you know, or I read this book, like, that should be a movie. Like, people
say that?
Oh, dude. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Barrage.
Because they want to be part of this
exactly,
fancy
which
business.
is the bullshit
you know, they
that
want
I'm
to be,
fighting to fucking expose. But my point is,
Mm-hmm.
if I sat down with every single one of those people in a room like this and was able to communicate back and forth with them in whatever language or however
Mm-hmm.
we could communicate, and I got their story, I damn well promise you that's gonna be a fucking epic movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If to somebody that knows how to tell a movie, a visual, you know, well, you know, like, I don't know, it's super black and white to me. So going back to your point of like, yes, like knowing who you are, everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. You gotta find your way of telling that story to the world, or just not, or just fucking being, living that story, not being afraid to like, or what anybody's like gonna think, or outside influences, or anything. Like, I mean, look at us. Like, what the fuck are we doing right now? What the fuck are we doing right now? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we're fucking doing it. Who cares? No, literally.
Because
5 people listened last week. 5. Do you know how many? Like, this is like nothing.
But that's.
But
don't say nothing.
I'm happy.
It's 5.
No, but I'm happy. I love doing it, and it makes me feel good. And I'm proud of myself. My wife thinks it's fucking cool. You think it's cool. My mom likes it. You know, like I'm win. I've won. Like, who cares?
Because you feel fulfilled by this. This is something that was meant to happen, and that's all that matters. And if everybody's gonna do what you know they feel fulfilled by, everybody's gonna be much happier. As long as you're not doing any
as long as you don't have bad fucking intentions, man.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like, as long as you don't intentionally harm anybody, like, just do whatever makes you feel good, because that's and what you're good at, because that's what you are born to do. You have talents and skills for a reason, and no skill or talent is better than others. It's just it's all equal.
Just
and that's
yours.
very
like you said, being a mom, you might fucking jam. Abby's friend, Christina, she's fucking out-friending me. Like, she's like, just like, she's so over the top, like, good. at being like a friend and a mom friend.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that it's like,
Yeah.
and it's funny, like, see a little competitiveness in that.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck that. I want to
Yeah.
be the best, you know?
Yeah.
So, but that, you know, just whatever it is.
Yeah.
You could be a fucking stay-at-home mom. You could be that fucking guy that just came and emptied our trash cans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's something, and I don't want
Did
to
he
say
steal
this
a hat? No, I'm just kidding.
What a jerk! Oh my god, I'm gonna call the cops right now.
This is fun. This is good. Okay, let's get back on track here.
Okay.
We talked about score. Oh, your favorite film score. Do you have one?
Yeah, it's Gladiator.
Ooh, it
Yeah.
is really good.
It's
Like Gladiator's the movie, like, and you know I'm kind of like at odds with Ridley right now. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
fucking love his brother 10 times more. But sorry Ridley, but every time you watch Gladiator, like, so, I mean, it's like fuck. It's just so good.
I know, it's just so good. And the music, I literally, it's that type of music that when I take a bath, and lately I've been taking a lot of baths,
Yeah.
that's the music that I put on, and I cry in my bathtub, and it's just so intense, and I'm like, it's just, it's just amazing. Like,
Yeah.
the vocals on that, especially that one track, it's chilling. It's really amazing.
There you go, Gladiator.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about score. Let's talk about source real quick. And for those of you who don't know, that's when somebody uses a song like over a scene. Tarantino is very famous for using this. Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, yada yada. I love it. Like, I mean, I don't know how much of my stuff you've watched, but, the teaser trailer right there, half my, my brain's already in the song, and like, I have scenes that I've written that I know the song that I'm going to, how I'm going to record, you know what I mean? It comes with the package. It's not like an afterthought.
Do you think that it's because of the lyrics or just because of the vocals?
Oh,
Or because of just the structure of the song?
Sometimes it's you know what? I'll answer that it's everything. It's everything.
It just comes together.
It just comes together. I'm very open to signs, you know what I mean, in the universe, and so like over the last like year or so, I've like really like a song will come on like at a random moment, or I'll be listening to it on my when I plug in to plug out and do my run, and a song come on just right at the moment where I'm like thinking, drilling my head about a scene or how to get through it, and then it's all of a sudden it's like, oh man, that's fucking perfect. Yeah. So I do a lot of that, but it's everything. It's everything. It's everything. It's even down to the point of when, like what year and where the song was released. And the story behind that art, you know what I mean? Like, you can go super meta if you want on it, which I do in theory, Like, I'm thinking of, like, the songs and scenes I had in my head, and they're, like, now, like, one of them's, like, legit, like, one's a Nine Inch Nails song that's, like, legit just the fucking beat and dope, and it's, like, a remix of one of his songs, and I was like, oh, it's just, like... And the lyrics kind of fit in, you know what I mean? Like, if somebody's listening to it and watching it, they'll be like, oh, Cloud Red Top, and they kind of get it. But, like, in theory, it has nothing to do with it. But it's just the beat's so fucking dope. Yeah. That, yeah.
It just goes. That's interesting. Yeah, I think that...
I want to strike your mind.
Go for it. I think that for me, I'm kind of torn between, like, sometimes I like it. I don't understand one thing. With movies like Twilight, you have amazing soundtrack. It's, songs. So the score is one thing, but then there's soundtrack to the movie.
Oh, and I want to get to soundtracks too.
There's like 20 different artists, top artists, who worked on the soundtrack, and these songs are not even in that movie. To me that is little confusing, or it's you do
understand why. It's just to make another dollar.
Yeah, but that's to me, like, from the artistic point is.
But let me talk about the artist. I was thinking about. I'm glad you brought this up. I was thinking about this, and I was like, "Fuck, what am I going to talk about?" In that same era, like, late '90s, early 2000s, whatever. This is actually even earlier '90s than when we were talking about the scores music. there was like always like movie soundtracks, and okay, I'll use. There's a movie that came out, and this is funny because like my movie references, like I've learned like a lot of people are like, oh, I never heard that. And I was like, came out in 2002, like you know, or, like youngsters. I got youngsters here. Anyway, there's a movie that came out like I want to say like 90. Actually, I think it's 92. It's called Judgement Night.
Okay, I've never heard of it. Of course.
Emilio Estevez, Cuba Gooding Jr., Jeremy Piven,
Okay.
fuck the comedian, fucking cancer smoker. I'm missing his name. He was on that firefighter TV show forever. Shit. Oh well.
I don't know.
Comment below with his name. You guys know what I'm talking about. He plays the bad guy. It's in LA. Basically, their RV breaks down on the way to Staples Center, and they get thrown in the wrong neighborhood, witness a murder, and then the gangster fucking tracks them down. It all takes place in one night, right? Like, I would say 6 or so. Like, sometimes it'll be played in the background, like, of a scene, but I'd say 6 or so songs from the soundtrack are in there. They might have thrown all of them in there if, like, you watch the full end credits and stuff like that. But it's about 11 or 12 tracks, and they're all original songs that were done for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
B, every single one of them they took a hip hop or rap artist and had them do the song with a rock musician. So you have Helmet, you know the Helmet, the metal band?
No.
They're old school. Dude, you'd love them.
I gotta check them out.
Helmet and House of Pain.
Okay.
Onyx and Pearl Jam. Or no. It's Cypress Hill and Pearl Jam.
Interesting.
Slayer and Ice-T. And, like, it's fucking dope. I still listen to it to this day. But, like, that stopped happening. You know, Demon Knight, Tales from the Crypt. Demon Knight is another example. Like, great fucking, you know, and not all those were were originals, but, like, they were all used in the thing. And, like, they took care. They paid attention to the soundtrack as terms of release. I understand now with, like, music being available anywhere for free, theoretically, you know, that there's not that big of a market, but it is kind of a shame that they got away from that.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel
now you hear the
sad.
same fucking songs in every movie.
True.
You know?
True.
Because it's all licensing.
Yeah,
rules.
including classical music. But I think that it's kind of sad that with movies like Twilight, because all these songs were original for the movie, but they were only used as a promotion, as you know, another way to market the movie. And I think that is, you know, so ridiculous. Like, it's just, I don't know. I think that's very sad. Am I getting like drunk here or what?
It's the domino, the perfect play.
Oh yeah. But I think that's just a little sad. And like I said, I prefer score over source. I do, but I also think that if there's a right placement for a particular song, and I don't think there should be more than 2 per movie.
Is that
like actual
Nico's rule?
Yeah, you know, up to 3. I guess I can handle 3. But if there's more than 3 tracks that I'm familiar with, I think that's too much for me, because that's just, it's a little too distracting.
Then
for
you're
me.
Daredevil, 2004, 2005.
It's
so
just
with that, you know, the song.
Yeah.
Evanescence.
So, oh my god, yeah.
You love Evanescence, don't you?
I actually don't.
I know, I'm being sarcastic. You can't pick up on it?
No.
And there's no way you'd like Evanescence.
But I kind of like that.
They weren't existent. Yeah. It's like Limp Bizkit. Like, I don't like Limp Bizkit, but I like that they existed.
It's you know.
I have a theory that in like 30 years, because like hip hop's huge right now, right? And that's kind of like people are blending genres and that. I have a theory that in 30 years, let's say Canon, music is his thing, right? And he's just like totally into it. When he's your age, like he's gonna, like kids 25, 30 years from now are gonna look back at like the 90s rock music, because there'll be hip hop will have done, and you know what I mean. It's trends, right? Like it was in the '70s, like, and like find their own voice and find their own blend. But I think that Korn and Limp Bizkit,
it's gonna be the new.
they're gonna be like their
classic.
Influence. Yeah, they're like Led Zeppelin's, their Beatles, like.
But in the same time, I think that bands like the Beatles, and I'm heavily influenced by the Beatles.
You know, I hate the Beatles.
Do not talk to me ever
Respect,
again.
like full respect. Full respect. And like obviously I mean they're great. They're amazing, and like some songs, some later stuff I like more, but like just I can't listen to the Beatles, man. It's not my jam. Not my jam.
Weird. It's like you'd say like I don't like Frank Sinatra. Like everybody has to love Frank Sinatra. There's certain rules that you gotta
I don't know, man. It's something about the Beatles. I think it probably has something to do with the fact that everybody loves them.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, everybody loves AC/DC too.
True.
You know what I mean? And you like AC/DC, but I'm like, but AC/DC's so fucking good.
Yeah, but and I saw AC/DC live, and it was one of the best shows I've ever seen. But in the same time, it's like all their songs kind of sound the same. It's like
no, 100%. That's what's so
it's like
funny.
literally the same riff over and over
Yeah.
again. Beatles are the best, but
no, Black Sabbath is the best.
Oh, I love we know. We get the song.
Yeah.
How
funny was that?
I know.
Can we tell that story?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so when Nico
it's like
came
a first meeting, right?
Yeah. I was actually really kind of nervous because I was meeting you at your apartment, and you live in Hollywood or like Koreatown, whatever. And I was like, I'm like the director, and I'm like just gonna talk to you, because I'd never really done it before with a composer, especially before a fucking movie. And so what I do, this, I'm telling the 8 people now listening, is when I'm writing a script, I'll build like when songs happen or whatever, you know what I mean? Like I might be at home, I might be on the road, whatever. I'll cue it and I'll put them in my playlist and listen to it constantly on repeat and just kind of pull signs and whatever from it. And so I was doing that for Nico for this project, and we're talking about one of the characters in particular, and just like kind of like sad, like he's really sad on the inside, you know what I mean? Like kind of a clown type mentality. And I was like, the feeling, I was like, I don't know, there's this Black Sabbath song I put on there that just kind of has it. And you're like,
gone.
What one? That's my Nico impersonation. And I was like,
I kind of do something like that.
And I was like, it's not one of their popular ones. It's off like a weird, really weird, obscure album. And now it's She's Gone. And you go, oh my god, that's my favorite. I love that song.
I don't talk like that, but I do love that song.
And I was like, what? Not only did you had heard the song, but the fact that you loved it was just like incredible. So, and if you haven't checked it out, She's Gone. It's very sad.
It's one of the most beautiful tracks. It's like something that I want to, at my funeral. This is my funeral song.
So like my hate of Beatles, Abby can't fucking stand. I mean, Abby's not big music anyway. Can't fucking stand the sound of Ozzy Osbourne's voice. And I'm like, that sucks because nobody sounds like him. So it's like, you just can't listen to Ozzy Osbourne. It's not like the rock music. It's nothing about. She's like, I don't know what it is. Something about his voice makes me want to fucking wring his neck or something.
I mean, he has a very specific voice, but back to the source. When you have a song that good, like She's Gone or Perfect Day, it's sometimes you can write the best score for the movie, but you need song.
Well, because sometimes whoever made that song, whatever feeling thing that you're trying to convey, like they had it at that time.
Exactly, and something that you can't capture with instruments, and that's why I also love. And even though it's cliche, I love opera, and I love opera in movies. I think that every Pavarotti they use Pavarotti.
Do you love The Fifth Element?
Of course.
It's so bad. And Abby loves it too. But like there is that one opera scene.
Yeah, I know.
That's like it's a good. I mean, it's like unfortunately smack dab in the middle or the last 2/3 of like a ridiculously bad movie.
I mean, I feel it took me a while because it's so Exactly.
It's
So
super popular.
ridiculous.
Dude, YouTube, like, Japanese video, or, like, that song, like, I've seen footage of, like full orchestras playing that, and, like, a woman, and, like, the notes are apparently extremely, like, near impossible to hit, and she's fucking nailing them with a full orchestra piece behind her. That's fucking cool.
It's amazing, and it's just, you know, it's something that the vocals add to that, you know, you can't capture with any instrument, and it works the other way too. Sometimes the vocal would just fuck it up. Sometimes you just need a score.
Let's talk about real quick example, and then we'll talk about scores. But the King Arthur soundtrack that I had you remember, I was talking about it, and he was like using his he's so fucking clever and creative, but it gave it just this rooted, like, organic fucking feel to it, you know what I mean, which is obviously what he was going for. So now there was this, I don't know if this term even still exists now. Like, I haven't heard people use it in a very long time. Again, 10, 12, 15 years ago, it was like the new craze. And they were calling it scorce music. You hadn't heard of it.
No.
And scorce for, you know, score and scorce. The best example I gave, like, at the hot, you know, highest point, it was like late 90s to early 2000s. It was a little window, but the very first Resident Evil movie, he's always paid attention to the, you know, and always had the kind of, like, electronic, like, vibey, you know, feel to his scores, and had a lot of artists. I don't know, do you know Tom and Andy? I don't know, that's the name of their band. They're two brothers, Tom and Andy, and like RESIN, it's Tom and Andy.
Okay.
You know. Anyway, so the first Resident Evil movie, Marco Beltrami, I think it was the composer, but then Marilyn Manson co-composed with him. Marilyn Manson is a musician, you know, not traditional score and stuff like that. But it was fucking cool, and I don't know if that's just become more mainstream. Like, you have Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross now, like, you know what I mean, winning Oscars for their score.
Exactly, and that's, you know, we're coming kind of back to that. You don't have to these days have you don't have to have the classical education anymore, and you can still be accepted in this world. You can still do amazing job because, you know, people are now more open-minded towards, you know, extravagant scores. It doesn't necessarily have to be all orchestral, and that's what we kind of started talking about. Like, I don't have the knowledge. I don't know how to, you know, direct orchestra. Like, I don't know how to do that stuff, but I can still score, and I think I can do a good job.
But you still understand all those instruments. Like, if somebody put you in front of a 70-piece orchestra right now, you'd shit your pants. Like, literally right there, you would just shit your pants.
I don't know what to do. It's like, all these people are looking,
Right, yeah. But you know what each one of those tools
that's your homework.
does.
You have to do the homework. Otherwise, it's going to sound shitty. Like, you have to, you know, especially if you're making orchestral music, I think that, and that's what I did that as a homework for our project. I took the time and I studied the instruments.
Did you read this? You read the script and stuff, yeah? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we talked extensively about, like, the theory of it.
Yeah.
And the idea for it. Oh, it's super cool. It's
I know.
When we get a chance to pull that off, it's gonna be so badass.
I know.
It's gonna be our aliens.
Yeah. Okay,
I tell everyone when everyone asks who Nico is, first I always say my wife is my muse, right? Just every fucking character I've written. Yeah. It's just meant for her, right? Yeah. Nico is my musical muse. Until either, I'm not shitting you, Hans Zimmer could knock on that door right now and say, I want to score the next movie, and Bugs. I want to score Bugs. We've already talked about, like, the theory of it and stuff like that. And I'd be like, nope. No.
But you would say yes to Trent Reznor.
Can he co-compose?
No, that's okay though. I you know, and I'm so flattered. Honestly, I'm so. No one has ever believed in me as much as you do. Maybe except for my mom.
Oh.
But you know, it's true, and it's just. It's. I don't know. It's just
Nico's
very
getting
flattering.
wasted on
I'm getting
$6
wasted. How am I
wine.
gonna drive home?
So we got wrapping up. We got about 10 minutes left.
Mhm.
So yeah, the scores idea. I haven't put like a ton of thought into it of why. I think though, now just speaking it out loud, I think it does have something to do with the advancement in technology and how you know, easier it's become to create music. Mixed with a more opening to, you know, to be honest, yes, we're obviously big Trent Reznor fans, but like that's a big step. That was a big moment in like cinema history. Like
Absolutely.
he won a fucking Oscar. It's like when Eminem won the fucking Oscar for Lose Yourself, which it 100% should have, because it is one of the greatest songs ever made. Ever. Period.
Yeah.
Ever. Period.
Yes.
Forever.
Love it.
Period.
Yes.
Yes. So like when he won, that was fucking dope.
Yeah.
But that was a song, you know what I mean? Like there had been a couple moments and stuff like that, but like Trent Reznor, fucking ex-heroin junkie from, you know what I mean? Like that's been around for 40 years.
Soft vampire, and you know,
right.
It's
So
true.
that was cool. So that was a big moment. So maybe that is why the scores, you know, nobody uses that or even knows that term anymore. Just
But
because
isn't
it's
that
become so
kind of-
blended. Because back in like 1998, like,
it was unheard of.
you didn't have a laptop. You could fucking do everything from.
There was a composer, and they worked with orchestra, and they, you know, were experiment composers.
Or they sat in a fucking studio with the drum kit.
Yeah.
And
recorded there.
performed the drums, and then the guitar, and then they knew understood distortion and you know, and stuff like that. Oh, by the way, there's another one. John Carpenter actually was so John Carpenter did the score for Halloween himself 3 days before he needed to have it done. So like he, you know, played piano. I think he played in a band and stuff like that. But like, you know, was a filmmaker. But that's why, and so he's scored like every one of his movies since then. And there's a movie he did in about '96 called Ghosts of Mars that he scored along with oh shit, I'm gonna hate myself for forgetting the band, but like oh, is it Anthrax? I want to say it's Anthrax.
Okay.
And like I watched like behind the scenes stuff, and it shows like, you know, so like he understood the themes and the melodies and he would be like go in there and riff on the fucking guitar in a D minor, you know what I mean, or whatever, and they're like okay, you know, and they're like this metal band, and they go and like riff, and then he uses that.
That's awesome.
So like
So
he was an early pioneer.
Yeah, he was producing. I think the earliest pioneer of this, and I just forgot his name, but he's one of the most famous composers ever, was a guy. I'm gonna look up his name.
This is why I need a fact checker on my show. By the way, if you are available Mondays or Tuesdays and want to come hang out and fact check, sit on Google and answer questions for us, that would be great.
So this guy, I'm gonna find his name. He's really one of the most famous composers, and
what's a movie he's?
He did, you know, oh my god, so in the 30s and 40s he was like,
oh, like he's that old.
Yeah, he's that old. Yeah, he's dead.
Gotcha.
But he
I'll find out, and I'll put his name on the link.
He was experimenting with the most unusual instruments. He was literally, you know, thinking outside of the box like no one else. He, you know, it's just, I think that composers always kind of had that thirst for new and for experimenting, because it's still different. You're working with footage, and you just, you know, have to kind of complement.
Well, when you think about it, it's like, I mean, if you really go back and like think of, like, that would have been an interesting time to have lived through, from going from silent era to not silent era in terms of filmmaking, and how a director is, you know, in charge of the visual representation, and yet also in theory responsible for the musical you know, organizations or presentation of the story as he's doing it. but yet lacks or may not have any musical knowledge whatsoever. So it's a very like I think the relationship between, and maybe that's true I guess with like any, or actors and anybody else on the thing, but like
Bernard Herrmann, by the way, his name is Bernard Herrmann.
Bernard Herrmann?
Yeah, he did Psycho.
There you go. That I assumed it was him.
Yeah.
I didn't know his name off the top, but I was like, the guy that did Psycho.
Yeah.
But like I've just found, like just working with you and stuff like that, is that we talk very, very little about like I don't know, actual sounds or you know what I mean? Like a couple times they're like, oh, can you like double time the beat on it or something? You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, I got it. But like the majority of our conversations are all theory, like, or all story, really. You know
but I
mean?
think
like,
that's I think that every director
translate
is
it differently.
First of all, when you hire a composer, and it happened many times in Hollywood that they hired a composer and he did a great job. He really composed, or she, but I know that in this case it was he. Fantastic job, but the score just wasn't right, and it wasn't because it was a bad score. It just the composer didn't have the right. Yeah, it just didn't fit. So they had to hire a different person who scored the movie again, and it's really important. And I think that's where people make the major mistakes sometimes. It's really important to make the research and to know that the composer that you're hiring is, every composer should be kind of like universal and know a little bit of everything, but there is specific style to every person. So when you're hiring a composer, you already have to kind of like what they did in the past. It's really important. And you have to trust them. You have to let them go. Yeah. Otherwise, it's not going to sound right. It's going to be
and they might come back and be like, they, do something, and then it's like, no, not it, and boy, that would suck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you should hire someone
but
because you like
that's what's interesting. Like when we did the Perfect Day thing, it's like, I know your music. I'm a fan. I know, I could never predict what your interpretation will be. I just know it's always going to be good. You know what I mean?
But it might be good for this particular project, but if it be, something else, it might sound horrible there. Just because it like my vibe did fit this particular project.
Well, your vibe will probably fit every one of my projects. I don't know if you know. I'm not making like a romantic comedy anytime soon.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? True. Well, maybe you should.
My next film's I have a graphic novel coming out based off my film called Apocalypse. So,
I'm so excited about that one.
It's gonna be so dope.
Can't wait.
Graphic novel, come on, nice. Anyway, we're pretty close to being wrapped up. You got anything? I usually do a movie recommendation at the end, so I'll keep that. I hadn't thought of one before, but I'm going to try to keep it within the theme of this. I've already pointed out a couple, but I'm going to go with shit. You got one?
Yes.
Okay, go.
So I'm still absolutely blown away by this movie I saw a few months ago. It's The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
I haven't watched it yet. It's amazing. Oh
my god!
I've been waiting.
I'm literally.
It's like one of those I might watch it tonight. I have to wait for Abby.
It's honestly one of the best movies I've ever seen. The score, by the way, since we're talking about this, it's absolutely fabulous. It's so creepy that it's like literally. I was scared, but it's not a horror movie. It's a thriller, and it's a little out there, but it's very disturbing and very uncomfortable way, and I enjoyed that very much. Yeah. So I think that for people who enjoyed Mother, they're gonna like this.
I did like. I mean, it was a fucking explosion of creative ideas and thoughts, but
this is a little more settled, a little more sophisticated.
You gave me my movie recommendation,
but it's I'm just, like shocked by every single actor and actress in that movie. Every single thing, the scene, everything about that movie was so spectacular.
I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, amazing.
So everybody's probably seen this, Requiem for a Dream, but maybe not. Like Abby's seen it, but doesn't like to watch it. You know, some people, I don't know, affects them. I have zero filter.
I think it was a groundbreaking movie for sure.
Dude, that fucking score, you won't
amazing. Now it almost
And
became
now- and then-
cliche because it's so...
Because it's been used. It was used in the
so
fucking
many-
the Two Towers. I remember the trailer for the Two Towers came out. I was
Oh,
in
really?
film school. Yeah, and it's not. I mean, it's the same song, and because of that, I'm like, oh, it's like an old Beethoven, or it's like Mozart or something, and people have just been regurgitated. Nope, that dude fucking came up with that on his own, just based off. And Aaron Aronofsky, like, there was like no money. He just like it was like new talent, and was like, I kind of have this idea, run with it.
And it's perfect.
And it's fucking incredible.
And it's and it's so simple. And it's the same thing for scores like
it would be interesting
Jaws
actually.
and Psycho.
Dude, it's so
Two notes, and same thing for Requiem for a Dream. It's like really, really simple stuff that speaks.
Do you know
to
the
us.
story
It's the most intense.
when John Williams first sat Spielberg down and played him the theme
he was
on his
like,
piano?
Yeah,
And he just went doo-doo,
Yeah,
doo-doo,
yeah,
doo-doo.
exactly.
And Spielberg thought he was fucking joking.
I know.
Like,
He was
ha ha ha
hell
ha.
no.
What do you got? He's like, no,
This
that's
is it, yeah.
Listen. And he was like, oh.
And it's like one of the freakiest things
it's
ever. You hear it,
And by the way,
you're
that's
scared.
But from 2 notes, 3 notes, right? 1 chord. Or what I'm gonna try to throw out as much musical lingo as I can to sound really smart. But it builds up when "Smile, You Son of a Bitch," and then this just a wave of the music comes in, just like.
But it's the notes that are like, you almost have to hold your breath.
Understand, I don't know, man. Super fascinating. I'm gonna wrap it up. I was super pumped to talk about this subject. You can tell I'm obviously very passionate about it. I don't think I could have had a better guest. Maybe Trent Reznor, but I think he's actually more introverted than you are.
Maybe.
Plus, he's not nearly as gorgeous because we have you there as well.
Well, if I knew that you were going to record this, I would put some makeup on.
Yeah,
but,
makeup, schmakeup.
Well, thank you so much for, having me. I always love seeing you and always love talking to you. So
You're the best.
We always get carried away.
We always get carried away. And so that's it for this show. Be recording another one tomorrow with the graphic novel guy. The guy that's doing a graphic novel,
that's
Steve Stern.
fantastic.
Yeah, I think I already promoted him on that because I thought he was going to be my next one, but turns out
You forgot about me, huh?
No, you didn't respond to my fucking text for like a week and a half, and I got a schedule to keep. Mama.
Schedule.
Anyway, that is it for us, the lovely Nicola Antonucci.
Mm-hmm.
And I am your host, Ryan McCoy, RynoRyder's podcast. In the meantime, until you hear me next, go out there and make your fucking movie, bitch.
That's right, bitch.
RynoRyder out!